Hello. I felt inspired and felt a need to get a few things out that have been occurring to me with the nature of this type of harassment and conspiracy and the things that we've been dealing with silently. Just the networked, organized nature of it, the way of the world shift, the spiritual change in presence within people. It feels a lot like a simulation that we're trapped in that we can't speak of and that we get no external cues from anybody else about. Like, if you feel like me, it's very isolating, very disheartening to not be able to just be on the nose and out with how we feel, especially knowing what we know now about things in the world, people, and all kinds of otherworldly things. Even like it's been a time of spiritual change for me personally, and I know it has been for probably very many people. This type of thing will drive you to become spiritual because you become disheartened with the world around you and people and how they are. At least that's how it was for me. But it's one of those types of things that's going to be so difficult to talk about for so many reasons. The level of manipulation and control alone, and the fact that we have our past to contend with. A lot of people are motivated by the fear of their past being presented to them in some kind of way that would be an obstruction in their present reality. Few fail to realize that on a large scale, all of us not doing anything equals everything just collapsing at some point. It's a sign of the times, that the weakness of the world. People are weak of will and virtue, and people who are not weak of will or virtue are still censored. There seems to be some kind of hold or limit on our behavior, and it's reinforced. But I think the more information that seeps into people's brains, the more of the actual truth of the matter that becomes presented, the more that we're going to be able to snap out of that hold. It's like we have to find glitches in the matrix. We have to find ways to remind ourselves that we're still human beings now, that we are real. The world around us has deteriorated, but in a silent, gradual way. The evil that is present on this earth has culminated. All this technology, like I had mentioned, presented a very unique opportunity for all this evil to assemble and form into what it is now, which is quite literally Mark of the Beast, which was prophesized in the Bible, which we all know about. Um, but I think it's a sign of a consciousness shift that the only reason it hasn't happened is because people who think like I am thinking right now are few and far between, and more than often, the universe is going to align problems that present themselves in the form of people as in prohibitions, shit luck, that sort of thing, from being problems being orchestrated in our lives by these nerdy monitoring gang stalking pieces of shit. Hopefully, many of them are starting to see the big picture that you're doing the work of the devil, you're playing your little role, no matter how small or minor. So don't forget that. But remember, break out of the matrix. Remember that you're a human being, and I'm certainly a safe bet to talk to when it comes to anything regarding this, what's going on silently in the world that I'm perceiving, anything existential or spiritual. If you want to talk about it, fucking A, I'm game. But that's the problem in the world around me. They've seeped into so many people. There's so many people that are manipulated. Just the subtle ways that they remotely manipulate our minds with direct energy weapons and this nanotechnology. They even do it to me, and I'm actively battling it all the time. But I'm getting better at it. I feel as if I'm almost adapting to this shit, and I'm just used to it. And I think everybody else who's a little way less unspoken or outspoken rather than me, they only get intermittently fucked with. I think people like me who are high vibration and awoken and trying to speak about what's occurring in any kind of meaningful way, we're the ones who are met with the most manipulation. But then again, we're probably the ones who can handle it the most, the more adaptive people who see this as a test of the universe and as a sign of difficult times ahead that we need to get spiritually right about, because there's an evil way of the world that can't continue on in this way without there being catastrophic problems. Um, Final point that it was important to bring up is that I feel as if the powers that be, the perpetrators, the orchestrators of this bullshit, they are needing to induce a Mandela effect to make us all uncertain of how this began, where it's leading. They don't want us certain of anything. The devil's in the details, providing all the little small wrong details in all of our brains. We live in a world that's cluttered with wrong shit and bullshit that is forever going to be disingenuous, and it will be a toxic thing to exist on this planet. And God forbid we ever be genuine and truthful about our feelings or show vulnerability with another person. It's like everybody's inner toxic narcissist comes out in the worst ways. And it's hard to explain, but I think we can all agree that the world's in a weird grip, and this is not how life should have been. This is not what God intended. So just remember, there's going to be a lot of smoke screens, gaslighting, and cover-ups when it comes to this, I predict. They never want any certain terms. They want us all to be distracted with personal problems that are orchestrated to distract and confuse us and keep us at arm's length, while also limiting our forms of communication with each other. So just imagine that the world twists apart, we all hate each other, and then boom, calamity strikes when we're way arm's length apart. That wouldn't be too good, would it? So it's time to start having some difficult conversations if you're actually able to, and you can muster those things up. I can certainly fucking handle it. I'm not scared of my outcome because I know I'm a good person, and I know I'm not doing wrong in the eyes of God, and I meet my own standard. It's just the way the world has orchestrated my own life to be extremely limited right now, and I've had to exclude myself from other people's bullshit. I've had to turn the other cheek on them, and that was the healthy thing to do, because animosity is just going to compound problems between people, and we're never going to get out of this fucking perpetual existential hole that we've been thrown into. Nobody's living their best life right now, I don't think. I think it's safe to say that the world's weird, and if you want to start that conversation with other people to see if they're cool, to test the waters, if you can have that type of talk with them, maybe to say, hey, let me ask you a question. Is the world are people in the world changing? Do you notice a world change with people? And if somebody's answer is no to that question, I would question them heavily, because this shit's getting weird and bizarre, and I can prove that it's getting weird and bizarre, and I do right here on my fucking YouTube channel, where I prove all kinds of things, actually, if you pay attention. But feel free to reach out. I just want to get that out there. Just try to snap out of this grip and this matrix. They're harvesting any ounce of soul or character in the world. So fight the loosh harvesting. They're harvesting the loosh, as they put it. They're feeding off pain and suffering, so don't give them what they want. But anyway, feel free to reach